Hi, good evening. My name is Paula Sides. I will be doing my presentation in regards to ethical hiring and social work, the case of Maria. In this case, in this presentation, I learned ethical and legal interventions and social work, topics that can be discussed during interviews, topics that cannot be discussed during interviews, what is ethical and what is unethical, and diverse workforce are different modalities to explain an interview during the social work. In this case, topics that can be discussed during the interviews. Ethical and legal interview focuses. Interviews must focus on job related topics to access candidates' abilities while ensuring legal and ethical compliance. Asking for licenses, practices, how many years of experience do you have during the job position that you're applying for. The fairness and consistency that applies to the job applicant is by asking the same questions of all candidates reduces bias and promotes fairness and professionalism in hiring. The ethical guidelines follows the guidelines of NASW Code of Ethics protects the candidate's rights and strengthens organization's credibility. Meaning anything that falls into non-racial or racial has not included with any interview questionnaires. Topics that cannot be discussed during the interviews is prohibited. Interview topics must avoid your marital status, whether you have kids or not have kids, whether you have babysitter or not have babysitter. Any religion or topics with race that can prevent any discrimination can go against. Legal and ethical violations, asking about your personal background or assumptions, breaches unethical standards and legal hiring regulations by profiling or by your including discussing anything about your past. Confidentiality and respect includes the employee's details of breaches of confidentiality, meaning whatever you share during those interviews are not to be disclosed with anyone else aside from the human resources or whoever is in charge of making the decision of the hiring process. The hiring practices includes the candidates respectfully and evaluate slowly on the qualifications to promote fairness and comply with laws. Empathy and understanding. What are the interpersonal skills for a diverse workforce? Well, empathy and understanding allows professionals to understand clients' experience without judgment, fostering and effective support. Cultural humility and components by recognizing personal bias and respecting diverse culture, whether you're Catholic, Christian, or you have any other religion aside from whatever the job description falls into the category. Clear communications is important because it's expectations by making documentation or how to communicate with your clients in regards to depending on the position, whether it's bilingual or not bilingual. Knowing two languages is not expected unless it's mandated in the job description. Patience and emotional regulations. By that, contributes to controlling by the vital when working with marginalized communities experiencing trauma or barriers. It's very topic sensitive because working in mental health, you deal with a lot of different emotional dysregulation among clients or staff. Recommendations for any inclusive and ethical hiring process, structure and exclusive practices, clear job postings that specify the qualifications, expectations of your role, of what your degree falls into the category and what you're applying for. The ethical and consistent hiring is included by the document and consistently apply ethical hiring policies to support legal compliance and community trust. NAS Code of Ethics violated in Maria's interview. Violations of dignity and worth. This is what we're going to talk about Maria's case. Violations of dignity and worth by discriminatory questionnaires and biased assumptions compromise the dignity and worth of the interview. Breach of confidentiality, sharing confidentiality, employee performance information, violated principles of integrity and privacy, and also exploitation and unpaid labor. Suggestions: unpaid work breaches ethical standards on exploitation and fairness employment, and such as taking a break, 15-minute break, or working more after hours when you're not mandated to report, when you're not mandated to work. Leadership and ethical modeling demonstrates the respectful, lawful, and transparent behavior to awful the NOS ethical standards. What is the Christian worldview and ethical leadership? Culture, respect, and service, ethical leadership principles, fair and inclusive practices, and alignment of fair faith and ethics. How Maria can respond to inappropriate interview questions: by maintaining professional and not getting out of character. By remaining calm allows Maria to respond inappropriate questions while preserving for professionalism and dignity. Redirect to qualifications. Maria can shift the focus on emphasizing her skills and relevant job experience instead of personal topics. Asking clarifying questions helps Maria steer the conversation back to the job-related topics and set clear boundaries. It is important to Maria set those clear boundaries as you navigate unethical situations that can respond to candidates unethically. Align with ethical hiring standards, clear policies and procedures, training and accountability by regular training and leadership. Accountability foster adherence, auditing and bias prevention. Importance of ethical hiring. It's very important. Just and supports for social work justice mission. This is the end of my presentation. And during my presentation, this is what I will be talking about and what I learned for Maria's presentation.